Hello. The story I want to tell you today takes place in California, the United States, with a strong and diverse economy. California, it's known as a technology center, entertainment and culture. Los Angeles and San Francisco. Located in California, they're all vibrant urban centers and famous all over the world. The main character of the story is called J.C. Bill Gates. The 5th of March 1980. J.C. is a smart and beautiful girl. She lives with her mother and stepfather. Your life is very happy. Your mother and stepfather love you very much. Her family originally lived in the city of Arcadia, Los Angeles County, but then her parents, "We are looking for a safer community for our children." So they moved to Mayer Township. It's about 700 kilometers away. The 6th of October 1991, it was the first Monday of the week. That morning, JC's mother was Terry Robin, who does typesetting at a printing house, went to work early in the morning. Jessica was 11 years old. She wears a fancy pink outfit and walking alone from home to the school bus stop. When we're halfway there, there's a gray car coming up. Stop her head and pull down the windshield. You think that the man stopped the car to ask for directions. So she took the initiative to go straight there, but did not expect the man in the car used an electric shotgun on her. It makes you stunned. And then there's a woman in a car coming down. Quickly get in the car and leave. That's not far from JC's house. It happened at that time. Her stepfather is San and Robin. I happened to see my daughter pulled into the car right at home. He rushed after the car, but it was too late. Father not only can't catch up, that even the license plates aren't visible. I know there are two people in the car. There's a woman in there. He immediately called the police after that. The US police responded quickly. In just a few hours, the local media continuously reported on the incident and called the public's attention. They expect the cooperation of the entire population to rescue her as soon as possible. The police sent a large force of police, joined the search. Helicopters and dogs were also deployed. There are also a lot of volunteers joined the search team. But unfortunately, we didn't find any clues. Police also bases and describes your classmates and father. JC's uncle painted a portrait of the suspect. But after all, the distance they see is too far. Cannot guarantee the accuracy of the portrait. A few days later, 10,000 ads and affix has been sent to businesses across the United States. Because JC's favorite color is pink, so the town covered in pink ice medals as a reminder of her disappearance and as an expression the community's support for JC's family to continue to expand its influence. The mother also founded an organization called Jesse's Hope to thank the volunteers, mentoring and fundraising efforts. Then T-shirt, sports jacket, fake app to find JC's missing person, also widely transmitted by LAN. Even there's also a special artist who wrote a song for her. The incident quickly attracted attention across the United States. They even appeared on the show, the famous TV, My America's Most Wanted. It's unfortunate, even though everyone tried so hard, but still can't find JC. In despair, the police began to wonder whether the perpetrator was an acquaintance or not. And the first person they think of is their stepfather. You are a direct witness. If you are the owner of Mew, the police can't find you. It's also understandable. The police then took JC's stepfather, go to the station for questioning. They also tested you for lies, but there's nothing unusual. So they removed you from the suspect list. The second person the police think of is your biological father, by Ken Slayton. They also suspect that maybe Ken wants his daughter back with him. So we've adopted some of these coercive methods. But after investigating, they found out that Ken didn't even know he had kids. Turns out he and JC's mother, we used to have a romantic relationship, but then they broke up, and JC's mother never revealed that she had a child. Therefore, JC's father was also removed from the list of suspects. There was no suspicious person in the case. It has also stalled. As time passed, the case was forgotten. It is rumored that maybe JC was left somewhere deserted, and she's not alive. Despite the thoughts of many, JC's mother didn't give up. She always insisted that her daughter was alive. Search notifications with JC. It has been distributed over 1 million copies. Over time, people have also used technology to recreate her form as she grew up. But JC seems to have disappeared from the world without leaving any clues. So where did she really go? What a terrible thing she's been through. Next, we're going to push back time. Go back to that fateful day, the 6th of October 1991. The 6th of October 1991, that day. After being dragged into the car, JC vaguely heard a conversation between a man and a woman. Oh my God. We actually caught it and ran away. It's unbelievable. When fully awake, JC was in Antioch, about 180 kilometers from her home. The world in front of you completely changed. She was kept in a dilapidated warehouse, surrounded by a series of tents. Tattered, covered in plastic. It's filled with old stuff and trash. At first glance, it looks like an abandoned backyard. There's no one paying attention. The people who brought you here were a deranged couple. Her husband is Philip Gardito. His wife is Nancy Gardito. Philip had a criminal record. He was born in California in 1951. After finishing high school at the age of 21, he hit on a 14-year-old girl and messed with her, even though he was arrested. But the girl's family is here to protect her honor. They didn't let you testify in court. That helped Philip escape from the punishment of the law. Philip then went on to a marriage. During the time of living together, he constantly attacks his wife, makes the wife want a divorce. He wanted to make his wife follow him. The wife finally turned to the law, and the two were successfully divorced. To 1976, Philip, 25 years old, he kidnapped a 25-year-old woman named Catherine Conaway in South Lake Tahoe. The girl was kept in a warehouse for 5.5 hours and be plagued with corruption. A police officer on patrol then noticed a car parked at the door of the warehouse. Feels strange. He went inside to check. That's what brought it to light. Catherine's testimony in court. He is powerless to make excuses. He was eventually sentenced to 55 years in prison. And the strange thing is that while he's in custody, Nancy often visited her uncle in prison. And she fell in love with Philip. Since then, the two have grown into a couple. In the 10th of May 1981, Nancy and Philip miraculously married in prison. The 26th of August 1988, after 11 years in prison, Philip was paroled for good rehabilitation, and they're attached to an electronic lead band. The local procuratorate. I will also visit the house regularly to check in, to stop him from continuing to commit crimes. However, he did not show remorse but wanted to commit more crimes. His wife's kind of in the wrong mind. When you know your husband's thoughts, not only did she not stop, but also agreed to participate. So the couple teamed up to drive, walking around the city. By chance, they saw JC walking alone on the road. So they didn't hesitate to go out with JC, and ended up keeping her in a soundproof shed in the backyard. This is a recording studio that Philip himself built. So whether JC is screaming, there's no one listening. Next, he handcuffed you and made you wear nothing, and told them not to yell and get out of the warehouse. Your parents don't need you. You're a homeless person. There's a big pack of hounds outside to watch the house. If you dare to escape, the hounds will tear you to pieces. In the first week, JC is still handcuffed, and the only person who came in contact with her was Philip. He brings you some fast food from time to time, and talk to her. He gave you a bucket. Let me use it for the bathroom. He slept with her for at least a week. Once, and 3 years later, Philip wouldn't allow her to read and write. Even, he doesn't allow you to mention your own name. And they gave her a fake name, Alyssa. Philip also brought in a TVI. It only allows you to watch shopping channels And you don't know that either. People are still looking for me. A month and a half later, JC was moved to a larger room next door, where there are relatively comfortable beds. Then Philip told her that the evil angels let him marry you, and you're going to have to help him meet his needs, because society ignored him. When drunk, he often comes to you looking for fun. He often claims that he is God's chosen servant. And then the fun. It ends with tears and an apology from him. It's accompanied by threats that if you don't listen, he will sell you. 7 months later, GC finally met the second person, Nancy, who brought a stuffed toy, chocolate, and milk hypothetically. She apologized, JC, and tell lies to control her better. After nearly 3 years of obedience, JC was finally allowed to remove the handcuffs. In the 4th of March 1994, Philip suddenly brought her some cooked food. 9. This is the first time you get to eat those things in addition to cheap food. Since his arrest, he changed the way he treated you because at that time she had a child with him. JC was 13 years old. Philip wouldn't take her to the hospital. He's just looking for information and teach her the skills necessary for childbirth. To the 18th of August 1994, JC gave birth to her first daughter, and she also had a long-lost smile because at last, there is also a companion. She takes good care of her daughter through what she's learned on TVI. I felt like I wasn't alone anymore. Had somebody. And I knew I could never let anything happen to her. I didn't know how I was gonna do that, but I did. 1997, JC gave birth to her second daughter. To have more space for 2 kids to live in, Philip built a big tent in the backyard. JC was allowed to leave the room and carry the baby into the tent, even though JC's owned 2 children. But to please my wife, Philip made 2 children accept Nancy as their mother. JC is the oldest sister of the 2 children. He feels that the only way for kids to grow up to deceive the police investigation. And in fact, outsiders think that the children are Lacey's children. And there's no doubt about it. By 2009, 18 years had passed since JC was captured. Your mother never gave up. And finally, a new turning point has emerged. In the 24th of August 2009, Philip arrives at the FBI office in San Francisco and left a paper outlining his views about religion and gender, mainly to describe that he realized his previous mistakes, and he's no longer guilty. He can help others do the same. Not only did he bring his 2 daughters to the University of California Military to teach about religion, process on, it happened to be the school's police department. That's when he met the dean, Lisa Campbell. In the process of meeting Philip, you think he's a weirdo. At the same time, she also noticed that the 2 girls Philip had brought were behaving very strangely. They both have a kind of fear for Philip, and always moody. They were very reserved and very submissive to Philip. Lisa felt that something was wrong at the time. To be cautious, she asked Philip to sign the paper, tell him to come back the next day. Next, she secretly asked a police officer to investigate him. After the investigation, she discovered that Philip is a man with a criminal record. Until the afternoon of the next day, Philip's back with a 2 p.m. appointment with 2 daughters. And they found that the girls looked very pale. It's like not being exposed to sunlight for a long time. And then Lisa. He also contacted Philip's probation officer to find out the situation. When the probation officer heard Philip take those 2 children, they're also in a cold sweat for the crimes of his past. Then it is currently prohibited to live with minors. Therefore, Investigators went to Philip's house to investigate his relationship with the two girls. However, they only found Nancy's wife and his old mother at home. The two girls were not found. Philip later explained that the two girls are his relatives, and their parents agreed to allow him to take them to the university. The investigators at the time asked him to take the kids and their parents go to the parole room to explain the facts. Tomorrow to the next day, the 26th of August 2009, Philip, Nancy, JC and his two daughters went to the parole room. Here Philip pointed to JC and said, "This is Alyssa." His cousin and two girls are Alyssa's children. Jessie also often admits that she is Alyssa, and the two girls are her daughters. She also said that Philip was a good man. He was very kind to you and the kids. Her two daughters are also involved. Philip was very good to them and to me. Looking at the context, it seems Philip is a good man. That's because Philip had been preparing for those situations the day before. But when the investigators trying to verify JC's identity, then the problem has arisen. To find out the truth, the investigators came, their mother and son, to find out the information. When pressed to provide details, "I can confirm your identity," JC has become extremely defensive and agitated. The investigators then invited more police came to show their love. Finally, in front of the police, JC plucked up the courage to talk about his real name. She said her name was JC Extrematube. 18 years ago, she was arrested and controlled by Philip and his wife. Escape. The police were shocked to hear the story and immediately arrested Philip and his wife. Lives in his backyard. That can't hide. When JC's mother got a call from the police, her emotions burst. You can't believe it. She was able to see her daughter again after 18 years of searching. The two later met again. JC couldn't stop hugging her, crying. Fortunately, that time, JC and her two daughters are in good health. Your stepfather is happy to see you again. Although, the police removed him from the list of suspects. But all this time, there are still many who suspect that you are the culprit. So, he had to endure a lot of fatigue. The police then went to the area. JC was previously arrested. The scene surprised the police. The conditions here are terrible. There's two shacks in the backyard. There's a lot of trash and trasheron. Next to it is a gray car. The car that Philip used to take her. The room that JC was in was very shabby. It's unbelievable. She spent 18 years in such an environment. Take care of two daughters alone. Philip and Nancy were charged with 29 felony counts. At first he pleaded not guilty, but before the evidence came, he also pleaded guilty to the 6th of February 2011 under state law. Philip was sentenced to 431 years in prison. Nancy was sentenced to 36 years in prison. However, the case has not yet fallen 5. Because there are a lot of people who indirectly caused this tragedy. Philip is a criminal. After parole, he's been under government surveillance. According to official records, after a while, parole department, someone came to check on Philip's house. Since Jesse was taken away, investigators have entered Philip's house 60 times, but they didn't see anything strange in the backyard. The police did not name him a suspect because his house is only a 2-hour drive from JC's. In 1976, he committed a crime against a girl near South Lake. I know where JC lives. The police missed too many clues. In 2002, the fire department received a call saying, a child in Philip's family. He was injured while swimming. Philip had no children, but the fire department didn't tell the department. Parole and NOAA to find out if the child is a 2006 Philip's neighbors. He also called the police to report that they see there are children living in his backyard. An officer came to see Philip talk for 30 minutes. However, the backyard was not searched. It can be said that it's also a part of irresponsibility and neglect of police and government agencies. JC lived in hell for 18 years. For the above reason that at 7, 2000 not 110. California state government decided to compensate JC $20 million United States dollars due to their negligence. The chief of the local police department. They also made a public statement. I apologize to JC. JC's family later. He sued the US government and said, Felipe used to drink and use contraband on parole. This is a parole violation. Maybe she should revoke her parole and take him back to prison. If the government takes it seriously, JC was not arrested, but the case was dismissed by a US court. 2,910 JCs have established the JC Fund to serve families like you, people who have experienced severe psychological trauma. In July 2011, JC published a memoir based on your own experience. A Star is Born. It was sad and touching to read. 18 years in prison. What it means to an 11-year-old girl. Control and Province. Apple for a long time made JC. You can't trust outsiders and dare not easily reveal his true identity. After returning to the family, JC went through a difficult time, but with the help and good treatment of the family, she quickly swam out of the dark and lived happily with family. In July 2016, JC published his second book, Freedom, my first book. In the book above, JC mainly talks about her life after being rescued and how to let her recover and reintegrate with the world. She hopes that through the book above, it may help some of the survivors went through the same experience. Until today, I still believe that each of us, they all hold the key to their own happiness. Try to hold it as much as possible. The day ends today, and here, and I'll see you in the next 6. Hello.